talking about Ryan Hunter-Reay just a moment ago on the radio. He told his crew he's starting to get that vibration back. They said, don't worry about it. This is the same place that it came in the last time. Remember, he was concerned about the tires. When they go away, they get a little bit of a vibration. They said, just keep running it. You're in the lead. You got to stay up there. Jamie?
And behind him is Servia. The car has been better after that last round of stops. They made a little bit of an adjustment, and that took away the loose condition. Now, this team, Newman Haas, they've been here 4 previous times before, all in the 90s, and they have 1 win with Nigel Mansell. So you can imagine they have been fired up, and he only has 1 more position to go to get the win. Gary?
Scott Dixon, of course, got that first win of the season at the last event on the road course at Mid-Ohio. He's had 4 seconds this year. If he can maintain position, he would have his 8th top 5 finish of the year. They haven't done a thing to this car all day long. Both pit stops, it was tires and fuel. No changes whatsoever. He just soldiers away in that 3rd spot, Jamie.
And James Hinchcliffe back and forth. He said this track has been quirky, but he's been doing a great job. He's been smiling all weekend, saying it's a lot of fun to drive. It's extremely hard to drive, but he's young and he can handle it. And he's been happy in the race car every time they ask him if he wants any changes. Nope, he's good. He's never run this good in a whole race. There's a caution on the track. We have contact, guys.
I don't think it's contact. I think it's we've got rain in the air, and it is going to slow us down for the 2nd time today. Our 6th caution comes out here with just 19 laps to go. 10 laps to go, and you can see Paul Blevins, the starter, saying 1 to go to green. So this is going to be the old-fashioned shootout. Let's reset it for you because we're just coming off our longest green flag run of the day of 83 laps. It'll be Ryan Hunter-Reay is going to take the outside again. Oriol Servia 2nd. Scott Dixon 3rd. 4th, James Hinchcliffe. 5th, Will Power. Danica Patrick 6th. And Takuma Sato 7th. Those are the only 7 cars on the lead lap. And Michael Andretti not happy, obviously. His man's leading, and he liked the moisture. And now they've called it off. And the word is it's because of the light rain in the air again. So what was...
And this is a nervous time as we watch Tim Cindric right now, who's calling the shots for the number 12 machine for Will Power.
Let me correct something. We were told initially it was because of moisture. It was because the cars were not lined up properly. So that's why we're going 1 more lap. So it looks like we are going to go back to green flag racing.
And this is where drivers will want to take advantage of the drivers that are around them. Now for Ryan Hunter-Reay, he only has 3 push to pass left in his camp. Oriol Servia 8, Hinchcliffe 7, Dixon 6. With only a few laps left to go. Does Hunter-Reay have enough to keep in front?
Again, it's Ryan Hunter-Reay, the race leader. He chose the outside lane. Oriol Servia trying to pick up his first win for Newman Haas Racing. Oh, and a spin already in the start. We've got cars going everywhere. And it includes Will Power. Danica Patrick spins. And you see Michael Andretti, he was complaining at the beginning of this because, and there's damage to Danica's car.
Moist track's probably just a little bit, that mist comes down. It doesn't take much with these slicks, Marty.
And this is really going to affect Will Power. Rick, let's check in. What's going on down there?
Well, I'm standing by with I will describe a very agitated Michael Andretti. You called this. You said that was going to happen out there.
Yep, and this is the worst officiating I've ever seen. Sorry, Brian, but this was bad, really bad. Well, we lost the car and we lost the lead. I mean, this is just, you don't do that. It was wetter than when they threw the yellow earlier and they threw the green. I mean, it's just...
you came down, you appealed to the officials.
I tried. It doesn't matter. Really, really disappointed. I mean, normally Brian does a great job, but this one he really missed it.
Let's go back and show you exactly what happened.
Remember, 650 horsepower. Danica tries to get on the power, puts her foot on the pedal, back end just starts to come around. You can see everybody else still sliding around doing the same thing.
It collected Takuma Sato. It also collects Will Power. You see Anna Beatrice in this. Here's another angle.
Now hers is the first car that starts to come around, which starts the change reaction. Obviously, Brian Barnhart, the chief steward, needs to make the decisions the best that he can, but you can see a little bit of moisture on the lens here. Not sure if that's from before. She just touched the throttle, Marty, and the back end came around.
On board with Briscoe. So Briscoe escapes the carnage, and there is Michael and his reaction. And of course, Will Power, you saw him getting out of the car. Here's a replay of that as he is just beside himself.
It's frustrating. You know, he's not had the season that he wanted to. He's been so dominant, so many racetracks, had some bad luck, some bad calls. Situation at Mid-Ohio, just with an unfortunate scenario of being the wrong place at the wrong time with the yellow.
He was at 47 points the way it was, and now it's 57 points based on where he is right now. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Jamie has caught up with Will Power.
Well, and as I reported, I heard Will saying for 5 minutes, let's not go green because the rain is coming. Will, what is it like being in the cockpit when you're told you have to race in conditions like that?
We were begging him. I was begging him, please do not go green. It's too slippery. And from what Tim Cindric was saying, so was everyone else. So everyone was saying it.
And you were yelling at the officials, Brian Barnhart in particular. Are you going to go talk to him, and what will you say?
There's no use. He makes such bad calls all the time. This has got to be it. They cannot have this guy running the show, because that was the decision that put a lot of drivers in danger. And you know, you saw how many people crashed on the front straight, and it was no condition to race in. Shame on him.
Came back from a lap down. You gained 20 points on Dario. At that point, you were 5th. What was it like at that start when it went green?
It was just really slippery. You know, and Danica lost it, so I reacted and went this way, and I saw Briscoe coming, so I reacted, spun, and then got hit by like 3 or 4 people, and that hurt too. Man, I just can't believe that they make decisions like that. I mean, what are those guys up there doing? You know, I mean, they have Alonso. He's raced. He'd never race in these conditions. So to me, it was disgraceful.
Those officials that you were yelling at on the radio are the same ones that hand down fines and penalties. Do you think any are coming your way?
Yeah, I know that I lost my temper, and that, you know, that was bad of me to do that, but I couldn't help it. I was so emotional about it because we had such a good day, and we begged them not to do it.
Big points implication here. Of course, Dario Franchitti out, but Will Power is chasing him in the standings.
Able to get
Marty.
through it unscathed. And we are in this red flag situation, waiting to find out what is going to happen with the results of this race.
As we talked about before, the drivers do report back, and there's the checkered flag.
Checkered flag is out. Now that means Ryan Hunter-Reay is going to be your race winner. So this race is now officially over. And again, we're still trying to get Brian Barnhart in here to discuss with us what happened on the track and how this decision all came about. But we are now being told this race is over. Ryan Hunter-Reay picks up the win, and Michael Andretti is now a lot happier than he was just a few minutes ago. For Ryan, it will be his 5th career win, 2nd on an oval. Remember, he won back at Milwaukee in 2004. 3rd different Andretti Autosport driver to visit victory lane this year. Marco won at Iowa, and of course Conway won back at Long Beach. And there is Ryan Hunter-Reay, and I guarantee you he is thrilled that this is over, because he will pick up the win. Gary, you've caught up with Michael?
Once again, how much does this salve the frustration and the disappointment of earlier?
It helps a lot. A win's a win. You know, I'm just so happy for DHL and Sundrop and Circle K. I mean, they've been hanging in there with us, and finally got Ryan in victory lane. You know, 3 cars for this team in victory lane this year. The only team to do that. I mean, I'm so proud of everybody, and so happy that you know, they made the decision they did, and thank you, God.
Okay, thanks, Monty.
So you can hear the sigh of relief in Michael Andretti's voice, and I'm sure that we're going to probably get the same reaction from Ryan Hunter-Reay once we get a chance to talk to him. And let's go to our Honda victory lane and find out how the winner feels. And Rick DeBrule, it's all yours.
Yeah, not the normal victory lane. We're standing up here at the front of the grid. He's getting a hug from Michael Andretti. He just got a hug from Marco Andretti just a moment ago. All right, we're going to talk about the win in a second, but you can walk us through what you were thinking and feeling when you were told you had to start this race under the conditions where it was so wet out there.
Well, it was, I couldn't even warm the tires. It was so wet on the track, you know. I don't think the fans at home really understand how wet it was. And with these cars, we only have a small contact patch. So the Firestone contact patch is amazing. But when there's some rain down, there's nothing there. I couldn't even put the power down in second or third gear. So wrong move on race control's part. But, man, we had such a great car today. It was a blast to drive it. I love these short ovals. A lot of fun. We would have liked to have just finished it under green or whatever. It was a strange day, but sometimes racing is strange.
All right, for the last 4 races before this one, you'd kind of been slowly pegging away at a couple of thirds. You had top 5s, top 10s. Did you know it was this close? Did you feel it?
I knew we had a good car this weekend. I mean, in practice, we've been really making the car better and better, and the guys have done such a good job. You know, we just kept at it. We have great chemistry on this team. And it's a great result. I'm sorry to see, you know, I think where the race turned was Dario and Sato getting together. I don't know who was at fault there or what it was. That's for them to decide. But, man, in traffic, the car was so good. And these guys deserve this win. It's for them. And Dad at home, how's it going?
Very happy.
Wish it was in a little bit of a different way, but we'll absolutely take it after the year we've had.
It always looks as a victory in the record books. Remember his second oval victory, the first time in an Indy car.
There's Mike Conway congratulating him, and a very happy Ryan Hunter-Reay as we come upstairs into our broadcast booth, and joining us is President of Competition for the Eyes Out IndyCar Series, Brian Barnhart. Brian, take us through the process of what is going to be the official results. Who's going to finish behind Ryan Hunter-Reay now?
Well, the official result will be the positioning order prior to the last attempted restart. That's going to be an aborted restart. Obviously, the track conditions were not in a position that was safe for us to run. Couldn't agree more with what Ryan said. It's a mistake on race control's part, but again, based on the information we had, we're getting reports back from the observers, from our track safety people, said there wasn't a surface change, said it was a raceable condition. Obviously, the attempted restart showed that wasn't the case, so it was a mistake on race control's part, and the only right thing to do and the fair thing to do is go back to the running order prior to that restart, because we ended up tearing up some race cars we shouldn't have.
Okay, that's obviously going to make Will Power feel better, but before he knew this, obviously he's hot under the collar. Will there be any ramifications, because these guys were venting before they knew that you were going to change this result and go back to that?
Well, I mean, we haven't even looked at that yet, Marty. Obviously, it's we're trying to make sure we're doing the right thing here based on the conditions of the finish of this race. And when you look at what these guys are dealing with out there, with their lives and safety on the line out there, their emotions and adrenaline's going to run hard. So we'll take a look at that after the fact, but that's secondary compared to doing the right thing for the finishing order.
And Brian, were you getting reports from the drivers up into to your head control there to get into the track?
No, and that's the hard part about it. I know a lot of them are saying, but we didn't have a single pit tech call and say that we couldn't go because they were radioing in. Obviously, up top on the spotter stand, we knew there was light moisture on the racetrack, but we were counting on at that point in time the observers around the racetrack and our track safety, and they said there was no surface change and it's good to go. And race control, we can only make the decisions based on the information that's provided to us. Clearly, in this case, it was not good information, not accurate, and wasn't the right thing to do.
And I know from running underneath you, you're all about safety. So it sounds like if you had got that information from the drivers that were in the cockpit, then you would have made a different decision.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd have never tried that, and that was so obvious as soon as you called it. I mean, it's almost one thing if one driver might have spun wheels or had it might not, but when 3 of them go that quick, it's pretty obvious it was a wrong call.
Well, Brian, thank you for taking the time and explaining that, and I think that helps ease a lot of questions that were cropping up, obviously, during the red flag period. I'm going to throw a curveball because I don't have communication directly to the truck. Do we have the results? And thank you, guys. Here is what we have, and there is what it will be. Now, Oriol Servio will finish second, Scott Dixon third, James Hinchcliffe, Will Power, then Danica Patrick, Takuma Sato seventh, Ryan Briscoe eighth, Charlie Kimball ninth, and Vitor Mira in the 10th position. So that is going to tighten up the points position, as that will make it a 47-point difference. And that wraps up today's action. We'll be back in action.